Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl. My name is Brian, and JD Vance gives a fantastic speech, but it's the woman who comes up next that steals the show by basically telling what it's like to live in a Democrat-run city. Ultimately, this is heartbreaking. But before I dive into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to our amazing sponsors, Colonial Metals Group. These folks quite literally have the cure to Bidenflation, but more on that later. Now, let's get back into the video.
I want to invite a few people up to just give some personal testimony. And before I do, I want to say what amazing personal courage it takes to be here and to be willing to offer your personal story. I know it's not easy, and I know this is sad, heart-wrenching stuff, but the American people need to understand what are the consequences of screwing up this election.
I've watched an incline in numbers of homeless people, drug addicts, and murderers than ever before. Dare I say it? Since President Biden has been in office. Democrats' soft on crime policies have led to the city I once knew to become unrecognizable. Unfortunately, I've had to deal with witnessing opioid addiction firsthand. For many years now, I have a brother that battles with this addiction. Today, way more than before, it's too easily accessible, which means it doesn't stop in our communities. These are not racially profiled drugs. The rehabilitation centers prove that. This crisis knows no demographic, income, family history. It affects millions nationwide. Democrats claim to have cleaned up the streets in Philadelphia, but it has not worked. The border crisis has led to an influx of drugs coming across the border and impacting families like mine throughout the city. This crisis has gotten even worse under Biden-Harris. Biden and Harris are not doing anything to help us. What would it change under Kamala? What happens when it hits your neighborhoods? Your homes. My mother keeps Norcaine in her closet just in case my brother does not awake on his own after taking drugs. You can purchase opioids from just about anywhere besides in-store purchase. And what are Democrats doing about this? Nothing. Democrats have and continue to turn a blind eye, bringing the crime rates all the way up. People are killing to steal it. People are killing to maintain territory, selling it. And people are killing themselves using it. I'm sorry. Murders are going unsolved. People continue to die. A lot of us continue to live in fear in our communities. We need leaders who will restore our once beautiful cities and towns. We need leaders who will not make us walk into a drugstore and have to ask an attendant to get an Advil, everyday items out of locked glasses because the store gets robbed every day. We need President Donald Trump and Senator J.D. Vance to be our next president and vice president, or our beloved Philadelphia will continue to spiral. This has to end, and I am proud to be one of the voices that stand against it. Thank you, Senator Vance, and thank you, Donald Trump. Please, I really, really hope we win this, and I really, really have faith in this. Thank you so much.
What a gut-wrenching but hopeful story. Keeping Narcan on you in order to, just in case your cousin overdoses and doesn't wake up. That is a kind of life I do not want to imagine. But that is the life for millions of Americans, because they or someone they know are addicted to fentanyl. And fentanyl is this terrible opiate that, for the most part, has come straight from China. Its whole design is to hurt and harm the American people. And Philadelphia might be one of the worst cities for this problem. You can quite literally go into Philadelphia, and if you look for it, you will find just this group of zombies. And I quite literally mean the phrase zombie. Hunched over at weird angles, barely supporting their weight, who have overdosed on the opiate fentanyl. This is in our streets, it's in our trailer parks, it's in our suburbs, it's in our high-rises, it's in our apartments, it's everywhere. But it's particularly hard in rural areas where the good jobs have moved out and the people left behind have no other ways around it. So what do? They inject, and now they're addicted. Same thing for the folks living in the inner city. Exact same problem. So she's right. This is not just a one race issue. Hey y'all, in case you haven't noticed, this isn't stretching like it used to. As a matter of fact, it's turning more into this. Folks, we are in an inflationary crisis, and that's why this show is sponsored by Colonial Metals Group. The experts led by CEO Paul Stone fully understand the minute details of investing in gold, silver, and other precious metals. They are here to protect your wealth against the insanity that has been Bidenomics and our refusal to stop printing money. And they even have a deal for first-time buyers. Free gold and silver IRA-backed accounts, insured storage for 5 years, up to $7,500 in free silver, and a personal safe to keep all this good stuff. So take a look at their website, link in the description below, or give them a call at this number to see what Colonial Metals Group can do to protect your wealth today. This is across the entirety of the United States. And that's why they're harping on this in Philadelphia, because this city might be one of the worst affected by it. So, what can we do? Well, one, we can get better with border security. The Democrats tried to push a, on its face, decent bill that could have helped a little bit, but it would not have done a thing to stop illegal immigration. All you have to do is show up to just someone at the borders who works with border security. Say, I am fleeing for my life. I am a refugee, and then you get allowed in, no questions asked. So the Republicans said, "This is terrible. No, something much more drastic needs to be done. We need a physical barrier. We need a stronger person at the helm at the Department of Homeland Security, because Mayorkas, instead of doing his job and putting more resources to fight the cartels that are just importing this stuff in, instead of doing that, he has workers going around carting around illegal immigrants so they can get to the judge on time. That is a stupid misallocation of resources, when it should have been the local police who handles that anyways. I don't want to make this into a thing about Mayorkas. I want to stay on message. This is something that the Trump campaign is talking about, and the Democrats have turned a blind eye to. Why have they turned a blind eye to it? Because they're fundamentally evil? No, that's not the reason. The reason is rich white liberals and their idiot kids run the Democratic Party. Remember, the Democrat Party is a big pizza pie with 6 slices, and half on one side is white pizza, the other half is marinara. And on that white pizza, unfortunately, the pineapples show up, because of course they do. And that's what runs the Democrat Party. It's that sliver of the pizza pie. And the rest are kind of left to fend for themselves. And that's why so many Democrats are breaking away. That's why in their primaries, they're starting to kick out the crazies, because they've realized that the crazies are bringing them down. That's why Cori Bush lost. That's why Jamal Bowman lost. And I'm enjoying that on one hand. On the other, a moderate Democrat, unfortunately, is more popular than a MAGA Republican. That's just the sad truth. So it has me a little bit worried that the Democrat Party can self-correct. So what can we do to make sure that the Republican Party is doing the same thing? And that's not the question. That's not the issue. We're talking about immigration. We're talking about a system that has allowed people and other goods to come over the border without any identification. We don't know what this is. We don't know how it's getting through. We have a problem. And the Biden and Harris team, Kamala was the border czar. I don't even think she ever took a trip down to the border. There's no way that woman has done anything with the Rio Grande. She was tasked, because vice presidents now get tasked with certain assignments. She was tasked with dealing with illegal immigration, and she did nothing. That body of work means that she's going to do nothing as president. Ugh. If you know someone who is dealing with fentanyl, being addicted to opium, we need a president who cares about this issue. We need a ticket that cares. J.D. Vance cares because he grew up in a home with an addicted mother. Donald Trump cares because he has constantly talked about building the wall. This should be just so cut and dry, but it's a shame that it isn't. At least we have one group of people talking about this issue, and they don't run in Democrat circles. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on PolitiBrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one, and until then, y'all have a good one.